Well, Michael, it's great to see you. Great to have this conversation today about you and about green markets. Maybe to kick things off, maybe you can just tell everybody a little bit about what green markets is and the role that green markets plays in the lives of New York City residents and farmers.
Sure. Grow NYC is a environmental nonprofit here in New York City. I am the director of its food access and agriculture programs, which encompass our retail green market farmers markets. We have a wholesale arm. We have a grains project. We have a farm stand project that started off just being run by youth, but now it's a combination of youth-run farm stands and staff-run farm stands. And we have a cooperative purchasing platform called our Fresh Food Box. All of our food-related programs have the same mission. It's to increase farmer profitability and to ensure that all New Yorkers have equitable access to those products. So let's start with farmer profitability. There are about 38,000 cultivated acres represented in the 250 or so producers that sell through our green market retail markets. Prior to COVID, about 85% would tell you that without direct access to the New York City consumer, they would be out of business, simply relying on wholesale channels. The other 15%, green market probably makes up somewhere between 30 to 50% of their overall income. So while may not be the definitive factor in their remaining viable, it is a crucial income source for them to continue to farm. On our wholesale side, we're working with about 65 farms, 70% coming from New York State. We do source from a little bit of grains from Maine. And other than that, it's states that are adjoining New York State. With those farmers, we're targeting the mid-sized farms, farms that we are losing at a disproportionate rate. And while it's terrible to lose a 10 to 30 acre farm, when you lose a 500 to 700 acre farm, it's devastating.
Sure.
And so really the work is to create downstate channels for our regional agriculture and New York State agriculture, and provide, thriving on the retail side, thriving marketplaces that are more than just places to do business. We build community. These are critical food access points. We are in the diversity of neighborhoods in New York City that range in income level, that are where, I live in a neighborhood, my neighborhood market. There are probably 15 languages spoken on any given Sunday at market.
Wow.
There are seniors who are coming and shopping with farmers market nutrition program coupons. There is thousands of dollars of SNAP transactions happening every Sunday and Health Buck transactions happening on Sunday. We have a farm to pharmacy program. Every Sunday in Jackson Heights, $2,000 is spent by SNAP recipients on high blood pressure. And every month when they go in to refill their blood pressure medication, they get $30 to shop at the farmers market. These are crucial lifelines for the farmers, for community residents. They are town halls. We have community events. What's interesting is we have 50 locations that in the peak of the season operate 75 market days per week, about 2,600 market days per year, and every day is different, and it's a different type of community event.
Sure.
Farmer spaces grow, they shrink. There's, because of seasonality, one farm may be in 1 week and gone the next week, and the rotation is constant. We have 26 year-round markets, 19 of which are operating currently because of COVID, unfortunately. 26 year-round markets. which means that we are throwing community events 7 days a week.
Well, Michael, you mentioned, market days, and certainly these days are very different than, even a few weeks or months ago. And so COVID-19 has certainly impacted everybody, but certainly I imagine it's had an incredible impact on Grow NYC and on your Green Markets program. Can you talk just a little bit about what that impact has been and how it's affected farmers and city residents?
Sure. We started planning in about, at this point, late January or early February, knowing that there was going to be some impact and disruption. We just didn't know what that would exactly look like. We studied pictures of Wuhan and looked at what other cities had done. But again, had no idea what it would look like here in New York City. Early on, we started taking precautions and implementing protocols really ahead of the food retail sector, not just the farmers market sector, but food retail in general. We very early on switched so that only farmers could handle the products. We early on and then reconfigured tables so that there actually could be spacing and buffering between where the customer stands and where the products actually were, because this was such a new concept, right? Farmers markets are about touching and tasting and bumping your way through. Right? Like that is what makes the market the market.
Experience.
They're alive, right?
Yeah.
And what we wanted to make clear is that these are still alive, but we're going to make them as safe as possible for you, the consumer, for our staff, and for the farmers and their employees.
Sure.
So no touching. We started spacing tents and tables, farmers' tents 3 feet away from one another. That has since become 10 feet away from one another. Requiring farmers to wear gloves. It's now masks and gloves. Regular sanitizing, making sure that there's a process for handling cash and handling product. And beginning to remind customers to behave differently.
Sure.
In late March, we realized we needed, we need to reconfigure every single one of our markets, because we recognized that distancing was now also one of the most essential pieces to the puzzle. We took 2 days off from all of our markets. We came back online on a Wednesday, having closed 7 of our commuter markets, markets that relied really exclusively on commuter traffic. Take a market like our Bowling Green Market. 66,000 people go through the subway station where we're outside. That became almost nothing.
Sure.
And so from a mission perspective, we weren't feeding people and farmers weren't making money anymore. We tried to redeploy those farmers to other markets where we could. But ultimately had to close those markets, which of course has lost income for Grow NYC, and it's lost income for those farmers who are depending on those markets for income, particularly this time of year. But this city has been fantastic, from parks to Department of Transportation, sanitation, and basically 2 things happened. One is they allowed us to redefine our permits and spread out so that we could safely space out our stands. And we started getting creative. We started turning one stand one direction to run a line that wouldn't overlap with the line that came this way. Chalk become one of our most essential items because we are every morning chalking out where everyone should stand for about 150 feet, creating 100 feet line spaced 6 feet apart. The best thing that could have happened was the governor deeming farmers markets to be essential. Because, we know that these have been, like I said, essential lifelines for farmers and for community residents prior to COVID, and much more so even now. These open air markets are some of the safest places you can buy food right now in New York City. And that's not to disparage our retail counterparts. Their staff are working tirelessly also and risking coming out every day. But to be outside where we have extra staff on hand. So our other Grow NYC programs that were funded through a contract with the Department of Sanitation allowed those folks to shift over to work on food access issues. So we're no longer collecting food scraps to turn into compost at markets, but that staff can be redeployed to help us remind people space out 6 feet, which is crucial to our ability to continue to operate.
Sure.
Just crucial. We've seen a real mix over the last 6 weeks. Our protein farmers have done very well. In fact, one of the things about Greenmarket is we are a very strict producer-only marketplace and don't allow for brokering. Since COVID, we've allowed for farmers to buy in from their neighbors with transparency. But, we have a Sawkill Farm livestock producer who sold out of all of their inventory 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
Well, they have friends who are their neighbors who lost wholesale markets, lost restaurant sales, lost some markets upstate that either haven't opened yet or are not going to open. So why would we not allow those products to be coming into the market? Again, going back to our mission, support regional agriculture and making sure that New Yorkers have access to those products. We're starting to see some of our weekday markets continue to pick back up. People are starting to recognize there's ways to come out safely. Some of the fruit and veg producers, we've seen their sales drop. And, some of our producers who rely on 50, 60% restaurant sales, they've had to pivot very quickly. Some of them, their worry is not for right now, but for a month from now when they really have a lot of product coming in. We are helping. We're promoting those farms' other sales outlets, whether it's online sales through their own websites, through other online services. We're also working with an app developer, Fellow Farmer, and trying to get some of our. We like Fellow Farmer because this is someone who came to us 3 years ago saying we're going to figure out a delivery platform. And we patted him on his back and said, good luck, however
good luck.
It's not going to work. And then about 6 months later, he said, I can't figure out how to do this in a way that actually helps the farmers and makes money. So what I want to do is create a point of sale system with back end inventory management for your wholesale guys. And I'm going to develop it hand in hand with one of your farmers. So it's being designed for farmers by farmers. Doesn't want to control the data. No outside investors. This really was developed in a way that we felt comfortable with, shared values. And about 4 weeks ago, that focus on wholesale pivoted very quickly to, all right, how can we facilitate pre-ordering and prepayment at markets? One farmer, Norwich Meadows, is now using that platform and then doing his own last mile delivery. Zaid is a unique farmer in a different position than most farms to be able to do that. But point is this does allow for pre-sales, prepayment, inventory management, Bluetooth communication from scales to your banking system. So whatever we can do to facilitate our farmer sales, that's what we're going to do, and that's one of the ways we've been able to do it. Listen, I don't know what the future is going to hold for the restaurant industry in New York City. I don't know what the future is going to hold when we open back up. Is it a big open? Is it a slow open? Are our customers' behavior is going to change? Are people going to feel comfortable? And I do think that our team has done an incredible job of creating safe spaces. For example, Union Square and Grand Army Plaza are two largest markets. We're actually at Union Square, we have 3 entrances. At Grand Army Plaza, we have 5 entrances, and we're controlling how many people can be in at any time. So it's a entirely new experience.
Totally.
And I can't predict the future, but I know based on what I see at our community markets and Saturdays at Union Square, this is where people want to come continue to shop. It's where they trust the product. It's where they have relationships with some of these farmers for generations, and now with the children. So that's sort of where we are right now. And of course, we've done the same thing with all of our other avenues. Our fresh food box program, we're now pre-packing everything so that people can come and space out properly and just pick up and go. Farm stands in the Bronx and in Sunset Park, same thing. And recently we started doing an emergency food box program where yesterday we handed out 1,500 portions of fruits and vegetables in partnership with the United Sherpa Society in Jackson Heights, which has been one of the hardest hit communities by COVID-19.
Wow. So Michael, I have one last question for you, and I'm wondering maybe you could share with us maybe a story of a person or a moment from this COVID-19 world we've been in that you're going to carry with you, and years from now when you look back, you're going to remember because of the moment, the person. You got a personal story you're going to remember?
This past month, seeing what our team has come together to do, knowing that they're nervous about being outside, but it's all hands on deck, from Marcel, our president, who's at Grand Army Plaza every week, to our assistant directors, and one of whom is at home right now positive. It's been all hands on deck. We've actually, even though our budget is sensitive right now, we've implemented hazard pay, and everybody on the ground got a % increase immediately. From an organizational standpoint, I have never felt prouder to be doing this work. I think that being on the ground allows you to hear every day the thank yous, seeing from both the farmers as well as the resident, my neighbors. Right, I've been working Jackson Heights for the last 4 Sundays, out there 6 a.m. Police precincts out there making sure that everything is running safe, and then my neighbors coming out and having this to say, this is where I feel safe. Right? This is where I feel that sense of normal, even though it's not normal.
Sure.
So I don't think I have a single moment, but just the way I felt over the last month about who I'm working with and the goals that we're working towards. Again, from supporting a food system that prioritizes people and communities rather than one that prioritizes profit, and understanding how important what we've created is day in, day out. I think that's what I will continue to remember.
Michael, thank you. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for all that you're doing.
We've worked together for a long time. Thank AFT for what all that you're doing, for the farmer funds that you're creating. Continue to look forward to working together. It's a long haul. We're in it for the long haul, David.
Absolutely. All righty, Michael. It's been good talking with you.
Stay safe. Be well.
All righty. Thanks.